Yeah.
I just love a big, strong man who's not afraid to show it with someone half his size. Be gentle, it's my first time. Thanks, You make it so easy, don't you? Always waiting for some bad man to save you. I am Catwoman. Hear me roar.
Hello everyone, this is Pico Entertainment and we're back again, and here now we have another video for you, and we're going to take a look back and reflect on Michelle Pfeiffer's performance as Catwoman and ask the question as to whether it's the best live action adaptation of a DC female character. Now of course, when we talk about Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, we are referencing the movie Batman Returns from 1992, so just beware of any spoilers when going into this video, and you can check out my review of the movie itself and I will leave a link within the description. Now, concerning Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, the immediate answer to the question is yes. Yes, she is the best movie female DC adapted character, and whilst we've had some very strong female roles such as Margaret Kidder as Lois Lane, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, and Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, none of them come close to matching Michelle, who in the role also stands amongst the greatest ever comic book movie castings. Now there are multiple reasons for this, but the biggest one of all is that Michelle's Catwoman actually improved over the original interpretation. The original source material of the character was largely a dual thief and a romantic interest for Batman, and nothing more than that. Well, Batman Returns truly surpassed that concept, creating a character that was far more complex and compelling. Here we saw a Selina as a lonely secretary, barely acknowledged by her male executives. We see her mundane life, where she's very much of a frail, timid personality. This of course changes after her being pushed out of a window by Max Schreck to her death, and then we see her being resurrected by several cats in the streets, and then we get a truly vivid transformation into Catwoman in one of the most stunning sequences of the film. And when we explore her Catwoman arc, we see so many fascinating character layers and dynamics. Here we are looking at a state of mental psychosis, an unstable mind, a clear case of schizophrenia as she switches between both the Selina and Catwoman personalities. She's very much an anarchist, causing lots of carnage and reveling in all of the chaos. It's like being Catwoman gives her a freedom of expression. She's detached from the constraints of being Selina where she's afraid to express herself. And this is something a lot of us can understand and relate to. We all have those days where we wish we could be somebody else and express ourselves without any care of inhibition, and this is one of the driving motivations of Selina becoming Catwoman. We then look at the element of how people develop a sense of social victimization. Selina feels like an outcast, that life has treated her unfairly, that society has wronged her in some way, and now she's lashing out, becoming consumed again in anarchy and violence. And this focus on the struggle on how we cope with seclusion, loneliness, a lack of attention or affection is something that we've seen explored in other great movies such as Taxi Driver and Falling Down. And whilst Batman Returns doesn't quite provide the same social commentary as those movies, the personal conflict is still there. We then explore the dynamic of people not wanting to live in happiness. Do they prefer to live a life of chaos and unbalance? Do they prefer to have issues and problems and struggle? Does that give them some sort of fulfillment if they're constantly having to fight and battle to strive for something better? Is living in peaceful harmony an even bigger struggle than actually trying to battle in a chaotic situation? And we see this in a climatic act within the movie itself, where Selina has the clear chance to come away with Bruce and live a life of happiness, but she chooses not to, and she even quotes the line herself, "I just couldn't live with myself." And we've seen this in so many individuals that they would rather revel in chaos rather than live in peaceful harmony. We then have elements of the supernatural, where we see her creation, if you like, by being revived by the cats, surviving fatal injuries because she has the 9 lives of the cat, as she quotes several times throughout the film. Now some will criticise this element as a lack of realism, but this is more in keeping with the film's tone in terms of that more comic book flavour and fantasy. And again, this facet makes her far more of an interesting and dynamic character. Now of course, we cannot mention Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman without talking about her sexual nature. And yes, it's speaking the obvious. This is a highly sexualized character. From her obvious catsuit, which Burton imposed his own gothic style in terms of the design itself, where we see it's a much more of a sleeker, darker aesthetic, much more edgier, very much giving vibes of the S&M look about it. And in terms of her personality, this is a woman completely confident in her sexuality. Very much of a dangerous confidence, which is something that we're seeing far less of now in movies today. A sexy woman with a confidence or a dangerous intent with their sexuality. Very much of that femme fatale. And we see all of those traits of the character right throughout the movie in all of her scenes with both Batman and the Penguin, using her sexuality very much as a weapon. It's such a fierce and vivid embodiment of what a woman can be when she's confident in her sexuality, that I look at this version of Catwoman, and in these times of PC sensitivity and woke correctness, I truly can't imagine a version of this character being accepted in today's entertainment climate. The character itself was hugely controversial when the movie was released way back in the early 90s. So there are so many levels to this interpretation of the character, and of course it helps having in the role Michelle Pfeiffer, one of the all-time great movie actresses from the 1980s, in what's undoubtedly her most iconic performance. Here we see her at the complete top of her game. She's beautiful, she's stunning, she's sexy, and she was clearly given free rein by Tim Burton to fuse all of those great personality traits into the character. And all of those elements truly elevate this interpretation above all others, not only both in movies but also in animation and also comic books, confirming it without question the best rendition of Catwoman as a character, but also above all the greatest female live action adaptation of a DC character. And in that regard, Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman from Batman Returns still reigns supreme. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings and look back on Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman and why it stands today as the best movie adaptation of a female character within DC. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you disagree with my statements and you believe there's another female adaptation within movies, not television, within movies that you feel stands even greater than Michelle Pfeiffer in her role as Catwoman, then let me know what you think in the comments below and we can have further debate and discussion. And if you have any other subjects that you'd like to see me cover within the channel regarding movies or television series or any other topics or trending issues within the entertainment industry, then also let me know within the comments and I will see if I can provide further commentary on you within that subject matter on the future. Please also hit and like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves and I will see you very, very soon.